Well, hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yes, as we skip merrily into Trump administration 2.0, we already have a lot of changes. They didn't just have like a swearing-in ceremony and a concert and a couple of inaugural balls. Some rules got changed, a lot of which have to do with the border. Over and over, this guy sat at a desk, and there was that dude that was sitting to his right, and he was just saying, okay, this executive order is about, X, Y, Z. Okay, this next executive order is about the ending birthright citizenship. This next executive order is about freeing the January 6ers. This next. So after all that, some people's job it is, like if you're an immigration attorney, like my next guest, Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, is you got to go dig through all that and find out what rules have changed. How do you keep up with that, Kate? Do y'all get like a newsletter, or is there like some judicial watch type organization that breaks down what changed for you guys?
Well, it's a full-time job. There's coalitions. There's the American Immigration Lawyers Association. There's various trackers. It's a lot of reading and talking to colleagues and attending webinars, et cetera.
All right. Well, let's start with the legal immigrants first. What changes in their world happened yesterday?
The biggest changes yesterday were focused on the border and on birthright citizenship. So at the border, we had the cancellation of the CBP One app, which is the app that asylum seekers and parole applicants have been using to register and submit their background information, submit their photos. And so all the people who had been working their way through that system were canceled out. And then the executive orders declared an invasion at the border, which will allow the Trump administration to send military to the border and circumvent certain due process protections and congressional limitations. And then the other big splashy one was the birthright citizenship, which takes effect in 30 days. And it says that anyone born to non-U.S. citizen parents essentially should not be given any proof of citizenship, like a Social Security card or a passport. And already 22 states have brought lawsuits against that particular executive order. I think there's going to be just a lot of litigation on all of this stuff. But that was the aim of the first day. And then I think today and, in the days coming, we're going to start to see more related to interior enforcement and apprehensions.
Do we know if that birthright citizenship one is retroactive, or would that just be for new births going forward?
It's retroactive. It is set to apply to start in 30 days, which I guess is probably around February 19th. And it says that children born to a mother who is either undocumented or in some type of temporary status, whose father is also not a U.S. citizen, should not be given any proof of citizenship.
Like if they're here on like a tourist visa, or their dad's a diplomat or something?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
All right.
So,
the other one that I thought I would need to ask you about is the executive order classifying the drug cartels as terrorist organizations. Is that going to change much for the immigration process for people who aren't in cartels?
It's similar to the invasion. This is sort of language that's opening the door for the Trump administration to do more with less permission. So if the administration is countering terrorism, they can detain people indefinitely or for longer periods of time and, deport people without due process, et cetera. So I think my sense of it is that these sort of declarations of terrorism and invasion are just the first step of what we're going to see in many steps. I actually think in some ways this could be a good thing for asylum applicants, most of whom are fleeing gang violence in Central America. They now have the U.S. government saying that the entities that they are fleeing are terrorist organizations, which strengthens an asylum claim, believe it or not. So that's one potential positive coming out of that for asylum seekers who are already in the process. But I think that, this was just we knew this all along. There's a plan. They've had a plan in place. This was step one, was just dropping all of these orders, and then we're going to start to see the actions taken, probably daily. I think it's going to be just a lot coming out daily within the world of immigration.
Yeah, put two and two together. If they're now a terrorist organization and we have a war on terror, and we see how we treat other terrorist organizations, we drone bomb their leaders, And so are we going to start drone bombing the leaders of cartels? I don't know, but it looks like we're kind of heading in that direction, Kate.
Yeah, I'm worried because, with the declaration of the invasion at the border, that means they're going to be sending military, so National Guard and other U.S. military down to the border. And there was some question in a news conference with him, does that mean we're going to be sending U.S. military into Mexico? And he sort of hedged and said, well, you never know.
That sounds like a maybe, doesn't it?
It does. And so I'm concerned about our relationship with Mexico. Mexico is responding right now in support of their nationals in the U.S. They're launching an app to help people. The consulates are very active, and they're obviously not, with their new president, they're not going to be aligned with these actions of the Trump administration. And so it's making me nervous in terms of a diplomatic relations with Mexico perspective.
We got a lot of finger pointing going around, but I think the real blame rests on all you Americans who just insist on doing so many drugs. You really have to do cocaine. You see all the problems you're causing with this. Jokes aside, Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch, how can they get some help from an immigration attorney like you?
Well, my law firm is my last name, Lincoln-Goldfinch, Lincoln like the president, and Goldfinch like the bird. And I'm doing a lot of video content. And so if people are just wanting to keep up with what's happening, you can also find me, in all the social media, and I'll try and keep you guys up to speed.
All right. Well, thanks for spending some time with us on the James Show. Yet again on WBAP. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on.
Kate Lincoln.